welcome to Eden Fractal. We're here for our anniversary event, second anniversary. Thanks so much for joining. I'm very pleased to be here with Rosmari, Eric, and Zaal, and hope you're having a wonderful day. Thanks for watching. If anyone wants to say hello or happy anniversary, then feel free. I have a presentation and a fun Fractal Stories game that we're going to play here too. And we're ready to go, I think. Okay, so welcome to Eden Fractal. Rosemary put together a beautiful anniversary picture, a little party powwow we're having on the beach here. And we're going to play a little bit of a speeches game like we did in previous years as well. So I'm going to give a little overview of Eden Fractal for who's not familiar and an overview of the agenda for today. We're a community that's been meeting just about every week for the past 2 years and creating innovative game shows and tools together. Everybody's welcome to join. We have a vision that all communities and organizations share the tools and methods to make the best possible decision making fast, fair, and fun. And you can explore our vision over here on the website edenfractal.com and our mission as well. We've come up with these visions and missions and done so many other amazing things over the past 2 years. So a lot you can explore here. Our mission is to implement fractal decision-making processes throughout society via collaborative research, development, education, gamification, and community engagement. Lots of amazing things happening with fractal decision-making processes that you should definitely learn about if you're not familiar yet. And we host weekly events where we optimize decision-making with these fractal decision-making processes, and we play consensus games where you can collaborate with talented innovators, learn these fractal processes, and help create the future of collective coordination and governance. And we produce videos each week too. We have over 100 videos produced from these events. We just celebrated our 100th event last week, actually. You can check out edenfractal.com/videos and YouTube channel to learn more. And we're building tools that anybody can use, open source tools on multiple networks, including the OP stack, the superchain, to empower communities with these processes. So invite everyone to join, and then feel free to reach out with any questions in our group chat and so forth. Explore the website, learn more. Lou.ma/edenfractal is where you can register for weekly email reminders and send this invite to your friends. And check out the Eden Creators X account, and also we're on Farcaster as well, where we're inviting everyone to join us to celebrate 2 years of optimizing collective decision making with joyful social games. We are planning to do a 2-week celebration too, so if you miss this event, then you can join us next week for an event as well. And we have an exciting agenda and game lined up for next week too. And this week, basically, everyone get a chance to share their experiences and aspirations for fractal communities. We'll play a fun game where people can rank each other's stories to rank the most inspiring, joyful, and helpful stories, and everybody will receive a commemorative mint on base. A mint is a non-transfer or it's a non-fungible token, and base is bringing the world on chain to create a global economy that increases innovation, creativity, and freedom. They're doing really exciting stuff as a leading L2 network in the Optimism Superchain. And also just like to express a huge thank you to everybody who's contributed so much and helped make Eden Fractal so special over the past 2 years. It's been such a pleasure collaborating with everybody. There's been about 100 people who have pioneered these events together, and we've built awesome software, made videos, and created and inspired many great communities. So thank you so much. I'm really excited for everything we'll do in the coming years. Rosemary put out a great tweet. Let's celebrate 2 years of Eden Fractal. I put out one in the OP stack too, talking about how these fractal consensus processes will empower millions of communities, and inviting everyone to join. And you can check out the videos on edenfractal.com/videos. Rosemary produced video thumbnails for all the recent videos. So we're caught up here so you can watch about ingenious topics, the 100th event, product packaging, where we talked about the products that we're building, like the respect game, goals and governance, seasonal strategies, Eden Fractal strategies. We're talking strategy a lot and defining our product in this product quest episode, our current direction as we're planning our direction to go to market, oceans of opportunities and target markets, strategic alignment. These are also a bit of a work in progress too, as far as the titles and so forth and the descriptions, but huge thanks to Rosemary for putting together these beautiful thumbnails and producing these episodes to make it so special. This is where we decide our mission docking, collaborative destination where we crafted our mission, and collaborating with Optimism Fractal and so forth. Just wanted to show these because for a while we hadn't been able to produce all the episodes, but this week we finally got around to producing them. So recommend checking them out. You can also go back to the very first Eden Fractal meeting too that we had on June 8th, 2022. And there's all sorts of cool stuff you can see there. It was a long time ago, lots of exciting stuff that happened. That's at edenfractal.com/1, and we've come a long way since then. Huge thanks to everybody who helped start it at Eden Fractal, a bunch of amazing pioneers that have been here over the time. And we also celebrated our first anniversary last year on June 7th. So this was also an amazing event where we pioneered several different games that are similar to these speeches games. There's really great talking about speeches about how Eden Fractal inspired people, and We did some really fun musical games too, so it was a really good time. Recommend people check that out. EdenFractal.com/53. Huge thanks to everybody, and Eden Creators YouTube channel, where you can find out all the most recent videos, as well as the Optimism Fractal videos too that we're publishing each week too, and a bunch of other shows. I said, oh yeah, and Eden Creators, actually there's a website, EdenCreators.com. Encourage you to subscribe to the YouTube channel and share. I updated that recently. And OptimismFractal.com, you can watch the videos on OptimismFractal.com/videos as well, where we're publishing videos where we're pioneering these processes. Invite everyone to join the events. Optimism Fractal is another community that we're pioneering these processes with, using these fractal decision-making processes. And we have a calendar where we have events every Wednesday and Thursday where we invite you to join and invite your friends and so forth to experience and collaborate. So lots of cool stuff. I just showed Town Hall, but that happens right after the Fractal event. And one thing I'd like to do during today's event too is just briefly introduce the new next generation software that Tadas is building. Tadas is a amazing developer and pioneer who's participated in many Eden Fractal meetings and created a lot of the processes we use here. And he just announced and released the first version of the app he's building for Optimism Fractal. And he expects to have this ready soon, and it can offer profoundly helpful features that were previously unimaginable and empower all communities with advanced tooling to optimize collective decision making on the EVM, which is, of course, the leading platform for decentralized community for computing. So you can learn more by exploring the repository, where he's built a lot of code already and shared the concept. And he also shared an introduction during last week's Optimism Town Hall Respect game, and I shared a little bit of an overview during Optimism Town Hall too. So I'm super thankful for this. And I think this will do incredibly helpful things for the world and for our third year implementing fractal consensus processes throughout society. You can check out the repository here and click around. Lots of links. Tadas has been working really hard on this too, so you can dive into the main features and everything else like that, and the town hall episode and Tadas' respect game. You can learn much more about this software too. So really exciting stuff on the way. Tadas also has a blog article where he writes more about this too, and all the links will be shared in the description, and you can learn more about Tadas in the video that I did, and interview that I did with him last year as well, that you can see on the screen, and once again in the description. Anyway, for today's agenda, I proposed, we have a game that we call cagendas, where we propose topics each week. So everybody's welcome to propose topics. And the topic that I proposed is that basically each participant will get up to 4 minutes to share a story about fractals. So feel free to share your experiences or thoughts about Eden Fractal or another fractal community or fractal that you're interested in starting. And then throughout the event, we'll also play a voting game too, where we rank each other's stories by most inspiring, joyful, and helpful. It's all in good fun too. So everybody who participates will receive a commemorative mint on base, first time ever minting something on base. So please share your EVM public key or ENS name, or I can send the mint. That should just be any ENS or any EVM address should work on base. So send that over and I'll send out it soon if you've been participating in the event. And basically, yeah, you can see the instructions on the screen here too. So I'll share the Slido poll in the Zoom chat. You actually should have got a notification already, and I'll share it in the Telegram chat as well. So you can click it there. And then throughout the event, you can go and click on who you think shared the most inspiring story, and the most joyful story, and the most helpful story. And then there's also a couple other ones just for fun. How are we feeling out there? Hope everybody's feeling good. And if you want to share anything else, then you can feel free to do so as well. So hope you have fun doing it. And if there's any questions about the structure of today's meeting, then feel free to share. But otherwise, thank you for listening to my presentation. And I think that we are ready to get onto the, as I'm getting confused with my slides, the event, Fractal Stories. And I hope that everybody has a wonderful anniversary event. I see Rosmari shared the Slido poll in the Zoom chat. So you can have that on the side, and you can feel free to change your votes throughout the event as well. I'm very interested to hear everybody's stories and hear what's on your mind about the history of fractals or the future of fractals, your aspirations or experiences. I see Zaal to share his ENS name, so thanks for that, Zaal. I'll send over the base mint for you. And would anybody like to lead the way and go first and share their fractal story?
All right, I'll do it if nobody's jumping. I don't have any trouble talking.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Eric.
You know, moving around a lot. I was in the Navy. I moved my wife 19 times. until she said we're never moving again, and then she had me move one more time. But for me, I had a sense of community in my job, but not a local sense of community. So where I've lived now, this is the first time where I've actually got to go to the chamber events and get to know everybody and show up. And so I've really looking for powerful community experiences, and a lot of great things. We in the where I live, we have over 200 nonprofits in this tiny area. 200 just that are chamber members, and everybody's trying to work together and do wonderful things together, and really good people. Um, but they have trouble working together, even in their own groups. Like Dan knows, I got together an artist group, and they were having trouble getting together. Now, by the way, they're really together. They've got a new place downtown. They have artist studio tour. They changed their name as a result of that. So I realized the power of bringing community together, and I think nonprofits have a really strong role in community because government isn't doing quite as much. It seems to be logjam. So nonprofits are taking this. So I talked to a lot of these nonprofits. In fact, we even started a connect, nonprofit connect, for organizations to help bring our nonprofits together. What the nonprofits told me was basically three things. Everybody's looking for funding to survive. They're looking for higher quality and quantity of services, and they're looking for lower operating costs. So as part of my dissertation, I said, is there an easy button that we can push that would satisfy all three of those things? And I realized that our experience with Eden Fractal, the one thing that we get here is a really open and honest conversation. Even among people, we've had some people who disagree with us are so bad. You wonder why they're not punching each other. And still, when they turn off the discussion, it's like the old days of Congress when our founding fathers in the US used to argue like crazy and then go sit with each other. So that kind of community building is a really powerful experience. And part of it is due to communication, the ability to have a safe place to talk where there's no judgment on you personally, maybe a judgment on your idea, somebody likes it, and really where you're not so much focused on, yeah, it's a bad idea. It's just, if we had a bunch of ideas, which do we like the best? So it's a great positive experience where you're not talking about how somebody's bad. You're just trying to say, what do I like the most? Personal preference. You may like this movie. I may like that movie. Not wrong. Just what do you like the best? So I think it's a really powerful community tool. So I took that enough to do a doctoral dissertation on that. And I'm excited because we're about ready to roll out that tool and test it with real numbers. So what's the potential of this? The potential is really community building, starting with nonprofits, but later individual in the community. And I'm working with the city now for bringing that city together. So I'm working with the city council. So the potential of this is to make changes in our lives and our community that we haven't seen before, but mostly it's about people. It's about getting people an environment where they can build culture and build common interest. So the outlook is good, and this is a great time to be here. For those that are just joining, it's we did a lot of work to get here. I think it's paying off.
Absolutely, I agree. Well, excellent story, Eric. And by the way, too, there's just the four of us right now, so the 4-minute timer was there in case there was more people there. We wanted to manage time, but if you want to speak for a bit longer, each of us could take a bit more detail with the stories too. So if there's anything else you want to add on there with the story, Eric, then feel free.
No, I timed it right for the 4 minutes. So
Okay. Okay, sounds good. Well, thanks for the timing. And if you want to come back with a sequel at any point, then feel free. We'd love to hear it. And otherwise, if anyone would like to go next, then feel free. I saw Zaal shared a link in the chat for a document that he's working on for a Zao fractal plan. For anyone who's not familiar, Zao is planning to start a fractal community that is for the Zaal, which is a really exciting musical community that he's been leading with the Z Talent agency. He's working with a bunch of really talented artists. And so I've been talking with Zal and have had the pleasure to collaborate with Zaal and meet Zaal over the past, I guess, 7 months or so at Optimism Fractal. And so I'm really excited about what he's sharing. I'm excited to hear his story. Thanks to the heart. Thanks for all the amazing work, Zaal. So if you want to jump in and share your story, then feel free. Also, if you'd like, I can, Edry has screen sharing permission. So if you want to share your screen, then feel
Yeah,
free as
I'm
well.
driving, so I'd
Okay.
love it if you could share that document for everyone. And yeah, I guess I could share a little bit about my story in the fractal communities. I started in the Optimism Fractal community, and a friend of mine who I've met in person in Portland had just kind of shared the link with me. I didn't really know what I was getting into. And I joined, and in the first week, they asked me to contribute what I was doing, and I had no idea exactly what I was talking about. So, as most people do for their first time, they introduced themselves, and I really liked the group of individuals, and I started coming back every week and realized the opportunity for the decision-making processes for communities. I've always seen communities as a really interesting resource to tap into, especially in the last 10 years. I've been a part of a bunch of different online communities through the gaming world and had a lot of different friends that kind of like the Web3 culture where you've never met the individual online, but you spend more time with that person than someone you may work with every day. And I really enjoyed the way of sharing contributions and ranking contributions without necessarily putting people down. And then I kind of learned a little bit more about how the fractal process is created and how the idea of trying to invert the amount of contributions the people make and make the revenue coming in a little closer to that. I don't know how to explain that paradigm very quickly, but I really enjoyed all of the different aspects of the fractal governance. And I got really interested and excited when I realized I could definitely utilize something like that in my community. So I started doing a weekly Zoom meeting every week and started breaking people out into breakout rooms to kind of prep my community a little bit for creating a fractal. And along the way, I started to join Eden Fractal and really start flushing this idea out with Dan and a bunch of other members in my community. And I've been really enjoying that opportunity. And I guess that is the past. And Dan, I don't know if you want to share your screen with the fractal document, but if you could scroll all the way to the bottom, I earlier today updated this document with some potential ideas for just some draft numbers of what different community points could look like. Initially starting with the respect game every week, as well as having a couple other small things in there for things I want people in the community to do, like turn on their video during our call, as well as be able to be just a listening participant and not have to participate. Sorry, I guess willing listener, not have to participate in the event, but still be able to accrue some points. As well as being able to utilize different resources. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to share this list. And yeah, that's kind of, I didn't have too much to talk about today. Since I'm driving, it's a little bit harder. But I'm just really excited. I'm at the point now where I'm manually kind of documenting down initial points and retroactive points that I want to give out to people for different things people have done over the last 6 months. But I would like to, in the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, start putting it on chain and start using proposal.com to put in my suggestions for why people should get points as well, instead of me just kind of making the decision and putting that up. So I'd like to start giving people points so that I can have other people other than me start making some decisions, basically. So my goal is to do that in the next 2 to 3 weeks, especially as Tadas starts to get a little more towards building this into one app. I think it'd be easier for some of the individuals in my community who are a little less tech savvy to be able to utilize. But yeah, that's just about 4 minutes. So thank you guys very much for everything you guys do, everything you guys created. And I'm super happy to be a community member. And yeah, thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Zaal. I see Eric's in meeting. Do you want to share something in response to that, Eric?
Yeah, I just want to say great stuff. You and I should get on a Zoom call because I've got some thoughts and lessons from you from both my dissertation and my experience with this.
Awesome. Yeah, let's find time to chat this week or next week. Awesome. Thanks, Eric. I would love to chat.
Yeah, Friday works this week.
Okay, yeah. Let me I'm gonna shoot you my number, or I'll put the number. Yeah, I'll DM you my number since it's recorded, and we can find a time where I'll shoot you my email if that's easier.
Okay.
All right, sounds great. Love to see the collaborations forming and wonderful stories. All thanks so much. As I said, a huge pleasure and really excited what you're doing. Really excited to help out however I can. And we have lots of just before we start recording, Eric was talking about bringing this out to multiple communities and several other people. So I think that these tools that Tadas are building will be really helpful for what you're building here, Zaal, and really appreciate you sharing. And yeah, stoked about all of it. Everybody can see on the screen if you haven't seen it already. The first page is here talking about the Zao and many interesting innovations that Zaal is bringing to it, many passing ideas and with the fractal governance model and the respect game and so forth. And there's also more pages. There's 4 pages long too. Also shout out to Dees too, who works with Mode Network, who Zaal invited and also said he's thinking about integrating, implementing respect game and fractals with Mode too. So really exciting. And then you can check out action item lists and other opportunities for token generation, more with the respect game and teams and so forth too. So really cool stuff and a lot of great stuff. Also, I pulled up Zaal's Zaal's website. Well, that's actually Zaal's Twitter profile. So recommend people to follow Zaal. Recommend people to follow everybody. Better Call Zaal on X, and then the Z-Town Artist Organization, a music collective representing groundbreaking initiative in the intersection of art, technology, and community. Lots of great artists here that you can check out. This is zaomusic.xyz as well. So thanks so much, Zaal, for the amazing presentation and story, and looking forward to collaborating. And so with that, I can stop my screen share, and I see Gudasol. So another amazing innovator and talented musician and man of many hats, I might say. But it's great to see you as always, Gudasol. Thanks for joining. Feel free. I don't know if you saw. I'm assuming you probably saw the promotion that we talked about, the Fractal Stories game. Right now, we're giving. We're each sharing a story about our experience with fractals and our aspiration with fractals. So feel free to say hello and share a story if you like. I know you've experienced a lot with fractals with Aquarius and Aquarius Academy and several other exciting projects you're working on. And we haven't heard from Rosmari yet too. So floor is open for him. I see 2 people unmuted, 3 people unmuted.
I can go anytime. Thank you for the warm introduction, Dan. I'm super grateful to be here for the 2-year anniversary. It's crazy how these things, like, we get so optimistic in the beginning and then we just don't realize how much work there is. And I'm really grateful that we found this group of people that are willing to do the work and keep doing the work. And I think that we're really we're getting to the point where we're almost ready to shed the skin and like grow into the next phase. So I'm really excited for that. I'm happy to go, or I'm happy to wait and listen some more as well. I'm not sure. I kind of jumped in late, so I'd be probably more comfortable to listen to Rosmari and somebody else and then share my story after, if that's okay.
Okay, well, Rosmari, do you want to go next, and then either me or Gudasol can go after you?
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay, cool. And thanks, Gudasol. Amazing stuff.
Okay. So
okay,
my story, I joined Eden Fractal on the 1st of February 2023, and that was during the Eden Fractal 35th episode. It was 3 hours long about MStig updates and fractogram, and at that point I had no idea what is even the MStig or what am I doing there. Actually, Gudasol shared with me that he's joining these Eden Fractal meetings online, and then at that time I was looking for a job. So not even a job, but I was actually quitting my old previous job, and I was just looking for some people to connect with online. Why not? And then I joined this event, and then I met a bunch of amazing people, builders. I was even confused, should I have to be a builder to participate? I had no idea. But then as time went, I got more relaxed. I went to this breakout room, and then it all started. So since then, this journey has been amazing. I am discovering more about M6 and on-chain builders and networks and grants and funding opportunities, communities, community buildings, culture. And I started to join a bunch of other meetings, and then we went through this journey together in a way. I suggested to use Notion as a collaborative tool for the community. Then there was that Firmament tool building that Tadas did, and then Aquadeck, Pomelo grants that I started to apply for grants. I created actually community stories podcast and applied in Pomelo with that. And I also interviewed Dan and Gudasol as part of that. And then also we did that more into Notion. I familiarized myself more with M6 and agreements and what is even decentralization. And then whoop, Alien Worlds happened. We started to run the Alien Worlds fractal for some time, for some months, and then even we started to signal our voting for Alien Worlds. I think councilors or whoever's forming their governance. So that was fun. And then also we're talking a lot about polls and tooling and how to even like plan our anniversary. Then we had our anniversary, which was great, as Dan mentioned. And then also that time we were signaling our opinions more to Alien Worlds. And then we went into like games and gamifying public goods, and then discovering our process and ways to kind of cooperate more as a team and as a community. Lots of discussion points about cagendas and topics we discussed, and then the respect tree. That's the idea about organizing our times and topics and structure better. And then really the idea was about growing communities, and especially with this fractal decision-making processes. And then we went on to experimenting with change the keys to the MSIG, and then also what happened at a few weeks after I joined, a few months after I joined, is that we started to go towards optimism, and then we started Optimism Fractal, and then all of that gathering happened with these events. And what I did was I worked on the thumbnails and video production, and also joined the events, and then until we formed our vision and mission and strategy. And then now we're here with discussing our products and actually more so go to market. So this is my fractal story, and thank you for listening. Who would like to go next?
Very nice story.
There were some other things that happened in between, but those are details.
Okay, well, if you wanted to speak a bit longer, then feel free as well too. We still have 25 minutes left, or you could save it for another time too for a sequel.
Okay, who would like to go next?
I can. I'll see Eric is unmuted, and I see Gudasol is ready to go too. So whoever wants to go, go.
Okay.
Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, I already went, so I'm good.
Okay, well, I'll go ahead next, and we'll save the Dan for last. Cool. Okay. So the question is, what is my fractal journey? Is that correct?
Yeah, but it can be your fractal journey. It's basically share a fractal story, your experience with fractal communities, your aspirations for fractal communities. Feel free to interpret it however you want.
Cool. Okay, so I guess I'll start at the beginning. I got into fractals when I watched this video called Fractal Brain Theory on YouTube. I highly recommend it. It's by this guy who wrote a book about how our brains process things and are like subdivided in fractal ways. And that kind of got me diving down the rabbit hole of like fractal mathematics and different things like that. This was around 2014. Then I discovered fractal art, also in 2014, and I got a really good computer because you need like 64 gigabytes of RAM to do this. So I got like a Mac Pro and put more RAM in it. And then I started rendering fractal art around 2014. So I've been really just like engulfed in the fractal aspect of things. Then later I found like the fractal like universe consciousness structure. And like, sorry if I'm going too far, but this is all fractal related. So I was always just questing, like, I want to understand the universe. I want to understand the universe ever since I was a kid. And finally, around this time, I discovered this fractal stuff. I took mushrooms and I like repeated this mantra of like, I love you, I love you, I love you. And I ended up having this like experience where I went into the light and I became like this timeless nothingness. And when I came back from that, like, just things started to sort of align, and then I was brought towards this fractal theory of consciousness. So what that meant for me was it became the guide in which all of my future software would be developed upon. In 2018, I wrote the what was the original purple paper. It turned out to be like 80 pages, and probably like 4 people read it. But what it was is it was the first fractal system of attention, right? So that was like my sort of fractal system. And then I found out about Dan Larimer's Eden and all these types of things. So I resonated really hard with that idea. I was very blessed to be the 100th member of Eden. That's also where I met Dan. And then after things went sort of skewy with that organization, we kept on going here, and I'm very grateful for that. And I'm very grateful for Dan for all of his efforts, as well as Rosmari, as well as Tadas, as well as everyone helping out to make these things and keep making them real. So yeah, like I kind of came in here at the weird angle of like, okay, I was designing what I thought was a good fractal system, and then I got jumped over to sort of Dan Larimer's version of that. And along the way, I realized what the core of everything was. So in my mind, as a software architect, I'm always under the assumption that I can design a system that makes people's lives better, right? That's what I believe. And so I design based upon that. What I've realized here is that like people, it's just people coming together and people sharing ideas, and that not everything in the universe can be codified into database tables and actions and relations and views, but this is real people coming together. So along those lines, I also started a School of Consciousness, which is kind of like my main focus right now, Aquarius Academy. And we started our own fractally spin-off where we don't really follow the model of contributions. It's more of like an accountability group, but we are working on deciding if we want to do more of a fractally type thing in the future for Aquarius Academy. I'm like watching the time, like running out of time. But yeah, that's what I got. That's my journey. Like my journey is way wider than just fractally. And I really believe like as above, so below. When we design fractal systems that are in line with the universe, then we will be successful with these systems. We will improve humanity. And then my second realization from actually doing it is like, okay, it doesn't matter what the tech is. What really matters is that people are coming together. So let's start with that and then like build the tech sort of to facilitate what's naturally happening there. And that's what I got. Thank you.
Oh man, this is too beautiful.
Yes, very beautiful. Thanks for the amazing story, Gudasol. Huge pleasure collaborating with you. It's a very beautiful moment here. I see Rosary with the fractals with hearts in the eye, cat. Yeah, I'm very loving all the amazing stories here. I can go next. I see Eric's unmuted too. Anyone want to jump in?
I just want to say your journey reminded me just for some reason with that book, My Stroke of Insight by Jill Bolt Taylor, who was a brain scientist who had a stroke and lost the whole left side of her brain and slowly gained it back over 8 years. But when she removed that part that just focused on things and analyzing, she really began to understand the connectedness part of things that lies on. And because she got her analytical part bit by bit. Like we don't pay attention to it because it just happens all the time. But when you lose it and then gain a bit, oh, you start seeing it in pieces. And that reminded me of your design journey, is taking this part where you got the connectedness part, then when the analytical part, it's like, oh, how do we deal with that? So anyway, if you haven't read that book, you might enjoy it. It reminded me of your journey.
Awesome. I'll check it out. Thanks.
Super cool. Yeah, I have heard. I think I've maybe listened to podcasts with that book, but fascinating things we can learn and how our brains work in fractal patterns. It's a mystery that we are learning about every day and discovering together. I often think that we're building like our own collective brain with these fractals too. I think that's a beautiful way to think about it in the future. I suppose I'll go because we have 20 minutes left and want to make sure that we have time for the ranking in the game and also just any kind of sequels that might come up or any other discussions. So I'll share my presentation. Thanks so much, Gudasol, for the amazing story, and thanks everybody for all the amazing stories so far. The Rosmari's putting up the slido poll, by the way, so if you want, you can vote there for whatever topics, or not whatever topics, this is not picking, whatever stories you like the most. Okay, so Roots of Eden. I made this artwork a while ago, cooperating since 2021. That's when it started in some way. First off, I'm also just I pulled up some links too on a show. Rosemary mentioned that she did the Community Stories podcast, and she also made all the artwork that she shared there too, or like a lot. She did a huge amount of work, and this is the episode that she did with Gudasol about community stories. You can find us at edencreators.com/community stories. There's show notes and an amazing interview where you can learn more about what she and Gudasol are collaborating with, and Aquadac, and all sorts of cool stuff. And then this interview I did with Rosmari, that Rosmari hosted Community Stories first episode back about a year and a few months ago now. So, and that was after meeting. So just want to also say I met everybody here through Fractals. This has been a real community story for me. I've been meeting everyone. Like as I said, there's been like hundreds of people who have collaborated with Fractals, and everybody I've met at this Fractal or different Fractals. So and it's been such a huge honor and pleasure meeting everybody. So really appreciate it. And also I pulled up some links to Gudasol's fractal art too. I remember seeing Gudasol's art. I was following it before we had ever met or talked. I was just like looking into all your cool stuff and all your art. I was like, this guy's up to some cool stuff. And I'm so glad we got the pleasure to collaborate. And I had the pleasure to join Aquadac, and you have a bunch of cool stuff on your YouTube channel. I pulled up, I was looking at too as you're speaking. So I recommend people check it out. But anyway, also Aquadac, excited to see what you do. But yeah, my story, it started out, I guess in a way, I was aiming to make music and make funny videos, and make fun videos and educational videos and stuff like that. I made videos with puppets and all sorts of fun stuff. And then as I was doing this, I had seen the on-chain world and how it could be useful for people to collaborate online. I talk more about this in the Community Stories episode, but have it where we could create things not just on our own, but together. So there's a whole bunch of like cool music videos and stuff here that you can see, songs I wrote and stuff. And then I started getting into Web3 and on-chain stuff, and I learned a lot about. There's a community called EOS. It's still working, and it was founded by a great developer named Dan Larimer. And then he went to go read this book called More Equal Animals, and this idea about fractal democracy or fractal consensus, fractal cooperation, all these things. So I have an article here, Optimistic's blog, and it's called Fractal History, where you can see a bit of the history of fractal communities and how it kind of started in 2021. With these, and Dan Larimer was aiming to create a society more with liberty and freedom and all sorts of good stuff like that. I got really inspired by the book. I listened to all sorts of podcasts and talking about it. There was a community that came out of it called Eden on the EOS, and they held Eden elections with the fractal process for 2 years or maybe 3 years now. And so I participated in that, and I made shows about it, all sorts of stuff like that you can see on this article. And then there was a new design, as Gudasol mentioned, called Fractally, which has the roots of the respect game. I participate in all of these, and I've just been stoked about it, meeting people and collaborating, helping this process as much as possible, because I think it's going to change the world and make it so much better for everybody in so many different ways, for all kinds of creators and builders and everybody, really, all kinds of communities. So started Eden Fractal, made a proposal about it back in May 2022, and people liked the idea. And then there's a community of there's 12 people who joined the first meeting, and we talked about it for a month before that. More details here about how we formed our mission and vision, and also more about Optimism Fractal below on this page, and kind of the struggles that came with it too, because there wasn't much funding available and all sorts of stuff that happened with that too. So there's a lot of volunteering and lots of work that we did. along the way. And yeah, I'm really excited to be where we're at right now, where we have a vision and a mission to implement these fractal decision-making processes, and we have communities and great builders who are working to build these, and lots of people who are using these processes elsewhere, and bringing them to new communities, like, for example, Zao and all the things that Eric is doing. So there's the More Equal Animals book that you can check out that has a lot of the foundations and the roots of what's inspired us so much. And I made a video about the first Eden election I participated in. It's on my Dance Party YouTube channel for anybody who wants to check it out. And then, yeah, Rosmari kind of took what I was thinking about doing, but going through some of the older episodes. So I started with an interview with a couple of community members in the beginning, and then there were so many episodes. It was kind of a mess where we had like maybe 20 people joining here in the beginning, and we were just like really inspired. So we never got around to making thumbnails for these. At that time, it just wasn't on our radar, but we just produced like these 3-hour long episodes where we played what we call now the respect game, and we were just figuring it out how we do all these things. So just scrolling through, huge thanks to everybody here, so many memories with all the people here, and I hope to collaborate with a lot of the early community members, and so thankful to everybody who's here. I see Gudasol here, and Tadas, and Eric, and then we have a bunch that were just like kind of just like no thumbnail or just basic thumbnail, and then yeah, started to get into more interesting thumbnails. And I was elected as the moderator back in week 28, and we approved the cagendas game, so we got more structure as we went along the way to coordinate our meetings. And I don't want to give you a headache by just scrolling through here, but I know Rosmari also shared a lot of this, but a lot of beautiful moments that we had throughout all these episodes. And I hope that many people will enjoy these. And so really pleased to share it with you. And there's a million stories I could share here. Basically, I can scroll fast, and they're just more and more amazing times that happen. Each of these are huge moments. But yeah, it's been an incredible time. Happy anniversary, everybody. Really appreciate it. I have a lot more videos that people can find there, but I suppose I can wrap it up there. For my 4-minute story, and it's just starting. That's also the thing too. So we're a few years in, but we're just at the point now where I think it's going to grow to the point where I made a tweet before where it's going to, or cast, where it's going to empower millions of communities. And I believe it's going to happen in the coming years, coming months. I think it's going to get really, really exciting, because a lot of these things, foundational pieces are in place. So I'm so pleased with our experiences so far. It's been a lot of work. I'm really grateful for everybody here. And then I think we're on a really exciting journey for our stories, and then to share these stories with many millions and eventually billions of others as well. Thank you.
Woohoo.
You rock, Dan.
Thank you. Thank you. You rock too, Gudasol. You all rock. You rock, Rosmari, Eric, Zaal. Really appreciate y'all. Thanks so much. All right, I see. I don't know if anybody wants to share any kind of any other thoughts that you shared about your story, or any comments, but also maybe I'll go ahead and share my screen with the poll. Rosmari had just shared the Slido poll, so you can X and Zoom too. I don't know if anybody's voted there yet, so I'm just going to go ahead and just open up the screen share. And this is just like a game for fun too, so it's really difficult to rank like who shared the most inspiring or joyful or helpful story, but it's just for fun, basically. You know, part of what we're doing is consensus games where people come to consensus, and so we're experimenting with these voting tools. And it also happened to be the last day that I have a Slido subscription too, so we figured we'd use it for a special kind of game while we still can. And so the questions here are: who shared the most inspiring story? It looks like we have 1 out of 5. Oh no, never mind. There's nobody who's voted yet. I can see this from the 0 on top. So feel free to submit the votes. It's all in good fun either way, but vote for whoever you think shared the most inspiring story. You can rank order. So for example, if you think that this is the order, you can rank it like that, and just doing exactly what's there. And then if you want to change the rankings at all, then you can slide them up, and do whatever you think is the right ranking. Rank however many you want. The stories for the most inspiring, the most joyful, the most helpful. And then if you want to put how you're feeling, if you're enjoying the moment or anything like that, if there's anything that you want to share, feel free to share a comment there. Hope that everybody's had a fun event. We'll try to wrap it up in the next 10 minutes or so, everybody, to be timely and so forth, but also happy to hear if anybody has any last thoughts. And then I have also here, which is our presentation mode, which looks a little bit nicer too. So I guess first off, who shared the most inspiring story? Who could it be? You could just vote. And then I guess we'll just see. Maybe we'll give a minute for everybody to vote, or if anyone wants to just take the floor and say anything, then feel free.
Yep. I'm voting now.
Okay, sounds good. eventually, by the way, too, we also have I have an article about how we could vote with respect for this. I have a few articles, and we tried this out with something called retro pitches at Optimism Fractal. We were ranking pitches in terms of like pitches for funding, basically for retro funding, and that event went really well. There was about 12 or so projects that pitched, and we ranked it. And so this is kind of like a test, by the way, just by the way, for some more information, that using the respect that we earn during the respect game and our fractal decision-making processes, we can do all sorts of stuff like make collective decisions, and also about making collective decisions about fun things like who shared the most inspiring story, and also about other kinds of decisions too. So as we do this, you can also think about how in the future this can be useful for other purposes as well. I forgot to mention too, when you're done with ranking, then go to click submit or send at the end. And if you want, you can add your name or just by editing there, or however you want to do. So it looks like 2 people are responding, and one person's voted, and Zaal is number 1. Gudasol is now number 1, taking the lead. Oh snap! One of the things we're going to do too is have music during these events. That's one of our main. I'd say that's one of our main goals for year 4, for year 3.
I don't know if I can share if you're screen sharing.
I'm screen sharing. Can you not see it? What's up?
Yes, but if I can play it, what was your screen sharing?
Oh, yeah, I think that's something, maybe it's something that should be simple but has some technical difficulties. So,
something to do.
Yeah, that's one of the top things. I'd love to make these like more like musical parties and so forth. Okay, so votes are coming in, by the way, for who shared the most inspiring story, who shared the most joyful story. Rosemary's in the lead here with Gudasol number 2, and who shared the most hopeful story. I'm in the lead here. Thanks for that. There's still 2 people who haven't voted yet. I'm going to submit my vote. I'm going to admit I kind of did it a little bit randomly because it's just a lot of pressure, and everybody's stories were so joyful and inspiring and hopeful. So I'm going to submit mine right now. Okay, as everybody, I think we have 4 submissions, but I know Zaal was driving, so probably best that we just move on from here. So I suppose we can just announce the kind of rankings and winners here, and then we can leave the next 5 minutes for just open conversation if there's anything else we want to discuss. So who shared the most inspiring story? Congrats to Gudasol! Zaal with number 2, me number 3, Rosmari, Eric. All right, although Eric's story was very, very inspiring, as well as Rosmari's everything. So congratulations, and thank you for the inspiring stories. Most joyful stories. Gudasol again. Gudasol is raking it in with his fractals. He's enamoring everybody with the fractal patterns. And Rosmari number 2 most joyful story is all Dan, Eric, and then me, Rosmari, Eric, Gudasol, and Zaal with the most hopeful story. So thanks all so much for participating in this little fun game. We're also making it more fun where there's like awards on the line right now. Just everybody's gonna get a mint on base if you give me your address. Yeah, by the way, I should remind people about that too. If you could please, for anybody who would like to receive a mint on base, as I said, it's the first time I've minted something on base before. And so everybody here can receive a commemorative mint on base. Base is a leading network, so just please share your EVM public key, your ENS name to me, and then I'll share the mint with you in the next few days. I got Zaal's, but I don't know anybody else's. Anybody needs help with that too, and is an experience with that.
I have Gudasol's
okay.
one, and I don't have Eric's one.
Yeah, Eric, if you have an Ethereum account that you'd like us to send the NFT on base to, or the mint on base to, then you can let us know. Perhaps send me a message, and then I'll send it over to you whenever after you send it. So that's it basically. I think, I don't know if I got to the end of the thing, and I'm a little bit disorganized, but everybody's feeling good. Everybody's got hearts in their eyes, and then the dog is enjoying the jet skiing too. So glad to hear. And anything you'd like to share, love it, and thank you so much. Thanks for all the work you do in the faith you maintain our ability as humans to self-organize and govern. Thank you so much. That's very kind and thoughtful. Happy anniversary, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm really enjoyed all your practical stories. And we are planning to do another celebration of the anniversary next week, in some fashion at least, because the anniversary technically it's on June 8th, but it's June 5th, so it's kind of in between. And so we figure we can have a kind of a 2-year celebration. We're thinking about maybe doing some sort of fun role-playing game that Eric suggested last week, but not totally sure. So if anyone wants to propose a topic to help
Maybe
celebrate
present the role-playing idea you have.
I don't know. It took me a little while to pull it up because I don't have it easily accessible. But basically, the idea was just that, like, we'd each share, like, basically who we're trying to, for example, sell the game to, or offer offer the product to, because we're talking a lot about product and strategy. So share who you're trying to offer a product to, and then, basically say, like, act as a test kit. I'm trying to think this off my head, so I'm not doing the test right now. But basically act out like you are offering that product to your community, organization, or whoever it may be, and do it here at Eden Fractal events. Perhaps we can have some sort of ranking, or if you want to have a buddy also help you, and you could use like some sort of acting out together, then you can. And I figure this can be a great way as we're going into our 3rd year and we have our product and tools like more ready than ever, and a lot of our educational and all this stuff done, and then the stage is set, and many people are interested or planning to integrate the respect game or some similar practical decision-making processes in their community, that this can be a place where you can kind of test it out and try out how you'd explain it to your community organization. Also, if anyone wants to propose a different topic or ask questions or have some other sort of discussion, we can do that as well. But that's basically the idea that I'm thinking of proposing. And then also perhaps also inviting more people from, there's a lot of fractal leaders too, who I'd love to get back together at Eden Fractal too. So planning to invite more people and do some sort of fun event to bring in the 3rd year. So that's basically that. Thanks so much everybody for participating in the Fractal Stories game. I guess I'll just conclude real quickly so we can wrap it up whenever. This has been a wonderful 2 years of Eden Fractal, where you meet every Wednesday at 16 UTC, and invite everyone to join us back, and invite your friends. Thanks everybody so much. You heard the stories here, so stay tuned on the Eden Fractal Telegram chat for the top proposal. Feel free to propose any topic that you'd like to discuss. Oh, I see Rosmari also shared in the Zoom chat the role players game too, so thank you, Rosmari. And in the future I'll make sure to bring that up sooner. And actually, I'm not sure, I'm using a new browser, so I'm not sure how exactly to, oh, I know how to do it actually. I can really bring it up here. This is kind of like a messy ending, so my apologies for that, but I'm working to get more prepared. And this is the role players game, like the early draft of the idea if anyone wants to see it. So with that, I will end my presentation and hope to see you all at next week for Eden Fractal, where we perhaps celebrate our 3rd year first event with a role player game or whatever anybody else proposes, and hope to see you all there. Would anybody like to share some final thoughts before we wrap up the event?
And let's go in the 3rd year and see what happens. I hope everyone stays healthy and happy and smiley, and thank you for joining. And yes, I appreciate you all.
Likewise. Gudasol, any last thoughts?
Just great to be here with you, and I'm ready for the 3, 2, 1 go. That's why. But yeah, it's great to see you guys, and I'm really happy Rosmari is still here and having a good time. Makes my heart feel warm every time I'm in a meeting with you guys. Yeah, like I'm excited. I feel like I said before, like I feel like we're about to grow. So I'm trying to understand what is letting go and what is going to keep going forward. But yeah, I'm really optimistic. I just have good feelings, good faith, and yeah, let's go.
Let's go. All right, me too. Thanks so much, Gudasol. Wonderful way. And I suppose, Eric, is there anything last you want to say? But otherwise, we can go with the 3, 2, 1. I think Eric's got to go. So thanks so much, Eric. And I think we'll just go with the 3, 2, 1 countdown.
Let's go.
3, 2, 1.
One.
Go!
Eden
Fractal! Thanks all. See you next
Thank
time.
you.
Thanks, guys.